Traders to our post-week market review. So starting things off from where the market originally opened up, which was this candlestick here. As you can see, and as we spoke about in our midweek technical analysis video, we saw continued bullish aggression and buyers aggression within the markets, driving price higher and higher. Sort of in the evening or late hours of Wednesday night, we saw price see an enormous amount of bullish volume into the markets again, pushing price up to this new all-time high of around 5,600. Let's just call it 5,600. However, from there you can see that price ended up catapulting all the way down to where it is currently trading at 4,860. So the clearest visible thing that you can see is obviously this candlestick here. This candlestick right here just completely wiped out any of this previous data. And we saw the bulls push price back up where we tested on a previous sort of support level on the lower time frames. For example, you can see price reacting off of this level and also came up to test it as a resistance. From there, price continued all the way back down. We ended up passing through these points of interest that we had previously marked, and price just sort of catapulted and continued to fall through our points of interest, with price obviously finishing at this level here. What does that tell us for gold? What could we potentially see next week? So obviously, if we go to our daily time frame, we can see that there has been a significant rejection. We can see that sort of the last 5/6 days of market movement has been completely wiped out in a single day with bearish momentum. Reason for that: positive news around the dollar. Some positives around the advancements for Greenland, which obviously then affected the dollar's strength, and obviously we can see that the dollar has strengthened, resulting in gold to short off as much as it did. It's not just political or economic news that's caused this. Of course, there's other factors that play a part in this. However, the overall thing is going to be that political influence from America as of right now. Let's go back down to our hourly time frame and have a look at what we could expect. So obviously we have now broken this overall bullish trend, where we saw, obviously after this move here, we saw higher highs and higher lows, with price reacting off of the previous higher highs as resistance, creating the next higher low on previous resistance, testing it as a support. So we had consistent break and retest patterns and consistent higher highs and higher lows. Obviously we created our higher high here, followed by our higher low, but then you can see price just completely dropped off, and we are now in that downwards trend of lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, price is making lower lows and lower highs. So if we're going to continue this same bearish trend, we're then going to expect price to push down, potentially past where the liquidity will be resting below here. What we will go ahead and do is we'll grab a fixed range volume profile, and we will just measure it from sort of this top point all the way down to where market closed. You can see that the point of control was within this area here, and we also had our value area high at the obviously the utmost high point, which was the most recent all-time high. You can see that the amount of volume here has resulted in this bearish drop as well. We also had our value area low where we saw a significant amount of volume. We also saw a decent amount of volume in this area here where bulls tried to push price back up. That probably would have been a majority of buyers trying to push price up until they realized that we are now out of that overall trend. We created that lower high and the price just catapulted. That's the reason you can see more black bars, which indicates sellers, than you can purple. Obviously we are down at this range here, and this fixed range volume profile doesn't really give us much. What we will go ahead and do is we'll measure the entirety of the week as well, just to see where the overall volume was. So you can see again, where price currently has rejected off of, or it looks to be rejecting off of, is our value area low. Our point of control is sort of that middle point of this overall drop, indicating to us that this is that significant point within the markets that has caused that continued pivot, resulting in that continued drop. And then obviously we have our value area high here, which is in that same sort of place as the point of control was in that last fixed range volume profile. So there's a couple of things that it's saying to us here. If I go to minute 15, you can see it a little bit more clearer. Overall, we are in that lower low, lower high formation, and for us as traders, we have to accept that price is most likely going to continue in that overall overall flow, or that overall pattern, until we then see a break of structure. A break of structure would look like a higher high and then a higher low, continued higher high, higher low, and then we see price break up above that level. So if we are going to see price break structure from market open, we need to see price push past this 5,000 level. If we don't see that level broken past, then we could potentially see price continue in that bearish fashion, and we could expect to see one of our lower levels broken past. So let me just try and find our chart here real quick. Here we go. So you can see that price pushed back up into this point of interest here, and we saw a rejection. And we also see this big exhaustion wick down here. So the most likely thing that we're going to see is price push down to around this level here. However, it does depend on how market opens up. As you can see, there is some sort of room for recovery. Again, if we see bullish momentum carry price above this level here, we could potentially see a flip once we clear these highs here, and then we could see price pull back up somewhere around this area. But like I said again, we're most likely going to see price push down to around this area here, as it is our next sort of point of interest on our minute 15 time frame anyway, and we are going to expect price to continue that lower low and lower high formation. That's pretty much it for gold this week. Overall, we saw a big bullish push carrying price all the way up to new highs. We had a sort of start of the week higher highs, each higher high being a new all-time high, and then through Thursday/Friday we saw enormous bearish momentum, completely wiping out sort of the last 5-6 days of data. So yeah, with that being said, that will be our post-week market review. I'm looking forward to touching base with you tomorrow evening at some point, and we'll have a look at how the market actually reacted to the open, and then obviously I will be touching back with you on Wednesday in our midweek technical analysis video. As always, I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.